Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing a model launched in the mid-2000s, sold in 2006. This, in white gold, is the 1 of 50 limited edition Franck Muller Chronograph Perpetual Calendar Retrograde Equation. 44 millimeters in white gold. It is 14 millimeters thick by 51.1 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. It is broad, flat, and handsome. As you can see on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, it has a lot of presence. It's not excessively thick, and with a domed bezel, it will slide underneath most dress cuffs, so you can absolutely plan to wear this with formal attire. But as you can see, it is a big watch. While it's not as broad across the wrist as some 44s, it is still rather spread, flared, and stanced. So I wouldn't recommend it for a wrist smaller than 15 centimeters circumference. You can see the over the top, the down the barrel, and of course the cuff one more time. Taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, the first thing you'll note is that Franck Muller did things the right way with this watch, using screws and bars to fix the strap to the case. The weight of the watch is impressive and significant, meaning that I am happy to have screws and bars here rather than spring bars because they are more secure. You can also see that as a very large watch, the watch was planned in order to have very narrow pivot center span across the wrist. So you can see how the lugs are drilled relatively close to the case. That actually moves the pivot center, so the strap inboard, so the watch effectively isn't as broad across the wrist. But in order to do that, you need curved spring bars so that the strap doesn't get caught up against the flank as it moves. And that's exactly what Franck Muller did with that curved spring bar setup, so you can pull the strap straight down. The strap is impressive. It's broad, of course. It's a matte, large rectangular scale alligator leather in black with a monotone stitch. You can see there's a sheer cut side showing the layers of leather, and then on the underside you can see that this is a Franck Muller factory strap in outstanding condition. It's calfskin on the underside, and there is a tiered polished white gold horseshoe motif signature Franck Muller pin buckle to allow quick adjustment on the wrist. Now you can see the case is a little bit in the fashion of an officer's watch. If you're familiar with the Patek Philippe officer's watch series, they're designed to evoke the look of old pocket watches converted to a wristwatch format, principally for use in the trenches, ostensibly by officers during the First World War. Well, this watch very much has that look to it. As you can see, the lugs are constructed separately and then fitted to the case by welding. This is old school case construction and labor intensive, so this is a true handmade case. You can also see that everything is of high polish, so it has a glossy upscale gleam to it. On another watch, full polish might seem overbearing and even a little bit gauche, but here it seems remarkably refined because the watch has a grandeur that's equal to the billing. The case makes a boast, but the watch lives up to it. Now, taking a look at the dial, it's radially arrayed, Arabic numerals, so you can see outboard in red and then inboard in Roman numerals in white with a watchmaker's 4 at 4 o'clock. You have a chronograph seconds hand that is red lacquered. It's a counterweighted needle style or lancet, and then you have leaf hands that are used for telling the hours and minutes, plus a leaf hand retrograde that allows you to see the month. Now, it is a perpetual calendar. If you look closely, you can see that the center dial is stepped down somewhat compared to the outer dial. One more note, the outer dial has a lovely white sector scale outboard for reading the seconds and the minutes. Now, at center, there's a moon phase disc. The moon phase has an adjustment interval of 122 years, so set it and forget it, essentially. And then there's a perpetual calendar system with the retrograde date. So you have the day, the date, the month in retrograde, and you have a leap year cycle indicator right up at 2 o'clock, right next to the retrograde month. You also have a 24-hour indicator right next to the radial day, and that's there so you know the nighttime hours, the time when you don't want to use the pusher correctors to attempt to set the perpetual calendar. As a perpetual calendar, of course, it is able to deal with irregular length months as well as leap years. So being an automatic watch, you simply wear it every day and it keeps track of everything. Now, the watch does feature a movement that Franck Muller calls the FM 7000 QPE, but I call it a Valjoux 7753 with what is in all likelihood a Dubois de Praz perpetual calendar module. You can see on the reverse side, The case is handsomely finished with a circular satin concentric pattern and then deep engravings. You can see individually numbered. This is number 6 of 50. That movement, being based on a 7753, is an automatic winder with unidirectional winding action for efficiency. It has a 42-hour power reserve. It beats away at 8 beats per second. It does retain the stop seconds function of the stock 7753. It is a cam and lateral clutch chronograph, but an outstanding example of the type, as in particular, the cam tuning is as sharp and crisp as any column wheel I've ever encountered. And of course, then it is perpetual calendar, 26 pivot jewels with the 24-hour indicator and the moon phase. It is 30 meters water resistant. This watch has a lot to offer. Reach out to tmosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.